Hello, everyone. We're here on the Millions March page. We don't know if anyone's watching right now, but you will watch it later, I'm sure. We've got some guests from America, from New Zealand, and from lovely Australia here today. Um, Everyone want to say hello?
Hello.
I'm
Hi
sure
from Canberra.
familiar faces.
Hello.
Hey, from Cairns, far north Queensland rocks.
So what we're here today for, if you don't know yet, we have the next Millions March event on the 29th of May. And obviously America is involved, Australia, we have Canada, we have New Zealand, we have England, and there's multiple other countries reaching out wanting to be involved too. We haven't, as far as I know, I don't know if Joe's signed anyone up. I haven't signed anyone up officially, just because it's hard when you don't know who people are, and we don't just want to say here's an event in Brazil or here's an event in China when we don't know the people doing it. So that's what we've got here today. Ali, I heard of you first. Do you want to just mention how it came about, the Millions March?
Well, we got started back in 2019. A group of us spread across the United States decided that we couldn't just sit by. We were just common everyday parents who care about the future of our children. And we saw, especially in the summer of 2019, the attacks on exemptions for California. And it really struck a chord with us, and we decided we needed to do something about it. So we started a Facebook group and announced to the world that we were going to do a nationwide event. And it has quickly grown over the last 2 years to a much larger global event. We couldn't be more excited about that.
So in America, how many states did you have? Or how many events in the country in 2019?
Well, in the first event, we had 176 events spread across the nation. We were very, very grassroots motivated. So while some of our groups were just one person, it was amazing because we all got out there and took pictures and videos and passed out information. Some states had, a dozen events spread across it, and some states had just one or two larger events. But the great thing is that because of the way that MMAMV was implemented, it allowed this real organic grassroots movement to take up wherever people wanted to get involved. So the first year we had 176. The following year, we had nationwide riots break out on the day of our planned event. So we postponed for most of the states. Some places still have. Florida had the most spectacular event despite nationwide riots. And this year we hope to really kick it in gear and blow all the past years out of the water.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I guess then, so I contacted you guys and we talked, and
Yeah.
and I had a bunch of people. Now I'm trying to find a photo here. My computer's messing up. So I don't know. Damn. Anyway, I went to an event in 2019. I wanted to put the photo up. I sent this to Tay a couple of weeks ago. This event was in Canberra, in my city. Alona was there. Tay was there. Michelle was there. Anita from the AVN was there. Morel Burnham, who was meant to be here tonight, was there. And here I was sitting front row. I'd bought a ticket to go. I was building a platform. People in the crowd come and said hello to me, and someone asked me, Michael, are you speaking? And I was like, no way. I'm here watching my idols. So that's what it was about for me in 2019. I was not wetting my pants, but I was getting excited. I was seeing Tay and Alona and Anita and Michelle, and I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. So that's how I started. And when I joined with the Millions March, they're the people I reached out to first. Like the people I looked up to and respected, I reached out to them for advice, and they're still here now. So a year later, that original crew I reached out to help, they've supported all the events, and they're still here now. They're the legends to me still. So I thank you guys.
Well, actually,
Absolutely.
sorry to interrupt, Mick. We thank you. All right. So first and foremost, you were the first one in Australia to activate these, global events. And I know that, in Cairns, far north Queensland, we're only a small community, but we support everything that you do. Up here, or I personally believe that this global unity, global activism is definitely the path forward in waking people up. The more people that see, sorry, I was going to use the word woke people, but the more people that see, actions and activities in their small towns, regional cities and suburbs, the more chance we've got of waking people up. This is not a problem that Australia is facing on its own. This is a global issue, and we absolutely reject what the government is doing. This is a global agenda, and we will fight this. We will absolutely fight this. But Mick, thank you so much for being the first in Australia to stand up and support these international movements, and very proud of you, Mick. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
I'd like to just jump in saying, Michael, you're a legend, and honoured to know you. And I'm looking through this participant list just going, wow, there's just some beautiful names here and some great people, and it's wonderful that we've found our tribe. And I think things are going to keep growing. I'm very excited. I'm happy to be alive at this time. I mean, of course, we'd all choose it to be a bit more peaceful, but we're all here. But I just thank God every day that we all found each other and we've got our tribe. And yeah, that trip to Canberra, Michael, changed my life too. So I'm glad, honoured to be in good company. Thank you.
No, it was awesome. Sold out, didn't it? Little conference. I wasn't at the rally the next day. My son's mum was with my son. I had to work. But yeah, it was nice. But we still think of the little numbers that were there back in that day. That was a national event with all you big names there. And it was fairly little. It was still great. We still need those photos we see, but it should have been bigger. And we're getting there. And that's what, again, I say, I'm looking around the screen too, and these were people, again, that have been here for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, some 30 years, and you're still fighting. So again, much respect for that. I know it's tiring.
Yeah.
I'll introduce Mary Jane now. I've found her photo. If I can learn how to share it. Share screen.
Well, while you're finding that, I'll introduce.
Hold on. There we go.
There you go.
This is when I met Mary Jane. This is 10th of May last year. So this was the first protest we were trying to get going around Australia. That's our numbers. 3, 6, 7 people. There we go. And I met Mary Jane from there, and she seemed like a real go-getter. And as I was working with the Sydney team, trying to make Sydney big and going to Sydney, I was like, Mary Jane, can you run Canberra?
Well, yes. So, I mean, look, that was just when we had, the unlawful lockdown, as I'd say. And, I had been aware of the vaccination issue for 20 years and with my kids growing up, but had never really, had never had really the impetus to go and participate in anything because I was mainly living overseas and busy and that sort of thing. But when this unlawful lockdown happened, it's like, oh my God, I got to do something. And I saw the freedom, whatever it was that came up, it's like, I'm going. And there were 5 or 7 of us. And at that stage I'd been, I had been ignited by the fact that my mum's in an aged care facility, and there was the 1st of May, you can't go in without a flu vaccination. And so I did all the normal steps, wrote the letters, followed up with the phone calls, did all that. And it's like, yeah, we've got to get out there. We've got to do something else. Awareness raising. This is madness. I mean, it was madness. And so Michael was very calm and quiet at our 7-person rally. And I was going, well, I've done this, blah, 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 and I've done this. And what have you done? So then he got blocked from Facebook. And then one morning I woke up and I was moderator of one of the groups, and it's like, oh my God. So I just jumped in, boots and all. Canberra's tough. So the one that you came to in Canberra, I wish I'd been there. That would have been fun. Canberra's a tough gig. I'd say 80% of the people that have come to our rallies in Canberra are actually from country New South Wales. In fact, last time someone came down from Port Macquarie because they are dedicated rally supporters and are looking to connect with different communities around Australia. So they said, well, where can I go to this one? I'll come to Canberra. We get a lot of people from Jindabyne, the Snowy Mountains, Adelong, Wagga Wagga, lots of different places. Wollongong, someone came from Wollongong to Canberra. And the most we've had was about 350 people, which was fantastic. This time, I thought, you know what, let's go to Sydney and make Sydney even bigger. I want to support Michael in Sydney. So I'm not running one in Canberra. So I'm sorry, Canberra people, but it's not that far from Canberra or the Snowies to Sydney. In fact, somebody went from Cooma last time. Instead of coming to Canberra, they went to Sydney because they wanted that vibe, that feeling of being in a really big movement of people, which is one of the reasons I'm choosing this time to not do Canberra. Now, hey, that's not to say if somebody else wants to stand up and run Canberra, great, do it. But in the meantime, join me. If you want to get a bus with me, I've got a quote for a coach or ride shares, that sort of thing, we can do that. The last thing I would say is I met Michael with 7 people on the steps in front of Old Parliament House. The next one, I think we might have had, 15, 20 people. And it's gradually grown. I do understand that a lot of people who have been in this truthers or movement for a long time are at the pointy end, are feeling tired and seeing maybe rallies don't work. What's the point? Let's do something else. We've got to go political. My response to all that is we need to do everything, absolutely everything. Now, not everybody who has just woken up is going to be standing in a shopping centre cold talking people. That's a tough gig. And I wrote to someone today saying, look, I totally get where you're coming from. After a year of organising the rallies, finding more and more people who get it and sort of speaking comfortably about what I can see is going on in basic facts that the government is issuing, and it's a bit crazy, but it's pretty easy to see these days. We're quite lucky. Only now do I feel potentially comfortable to go and talk to people in a shopping centre that I don't know. Other people are different, but that's me. So the value to me of the large rallies is that you can see for yourself, oh my God, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. There's all these people. If I need to go and talk to someone about something, or there's somebody who I can communicate directly with. So I encourage everybody, wherever it is that is as close to you as possible, come and join with everybody. That would be fantastic.
Thank you, Mary. Now I want to tell the next story that I come up with last year. It was from a lady called Michelle. I don't know if your story's public yet, Michelle. If it is, you can say it for yourself. What happened to you on, I think it was the same day, 10th of May. You're muted.
Yeah, hang on. I'm special with technology. So yes, last year, well, I'll just quickly recap because there's a few people on here I haven't met. Basically, grew up in Australia, went overseas 2010, lived in Indonesia, fabulous. I did a lot of human rights work there and community services. Returned to Australia 2017 and just kind of went, what the hell? Like, I've entered the twilight zone. What happened to this country? Blah, blah, blah. Saw the no jab, no pay. Got to be honest, as soon as I heard those words from the school I was trying to enroll my daughter at, my brain just went, seriously, it's not okay. Then I met Judy Wileman and then my story. So I come from more of an activist point of view, but I have entered into the political arena now, and I agree with what was just said, that we need to hit it from every single angle that we can. So last year, me being me, there was a rally at Parliament House, and it was actually Mother's Day. And I went along and I stood on the steps and I spoke, and it was at a time when we weren't meant to gather over the 20 people. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't really care when we weren't meant to gather. So we gathered en masse and I spoke. I spoke about the state of emergency, the DETECT program. That's something that's concerned me greatly here in WA, which is a school-based program where they take samples from the school children. They've taken 14,000 samples so far. I spoke about that, the state of emergency, and our Public Health Act that here in WA allows any security forces to conduct any medical procedure deemed necessary by the Chief Health Medical Officer. So I spoke about that. Another lady who spoke actually got arrested, and I thought, well, we'd seen the arrest the day before in Sydney, I think it was, and it was quite traumatic. So I started to videotape the arrest. Obviously, the police didn't like that. My mouth does get the better of me, so I did have to explain to them that they were acting like Nazis and they should be ashamed. That didn't go down well. Consequently, I was arrested as well, and I was charged with failing to follow a directive, because when the police officer asked me my name, I didn't answer him fast enough, basically. Now, I was in a tricky situation and I could have fought it in the courts, but I was going to be standing as a candidate for the next state election. So I had to cop it sweet, go to court, act very, very sad and sorry that I'd done this horrendous thing. And I was told that I was very lucky I wasn't being put in jail. And I was probably one of the first to go through the courts here in WA. After that, they did get tougher and they did put a few people in jail. So I got a $3,000 fine out of it and a criminal record, which has now, I've just found out, probably dampened my chances of success at applying for a gun license. So that's my story, and I've gone on since then, and I'll always keep going because it's in my blood. And I think, I don't know, I mean, I'd like to be different. I'd like to be kind of a sheep sometimes, I think, because it'd be a bit more peaceful. But, we've got to fight this war, and I don't understand that people can't see that we're in it. But I've had a fantastic journey entering politics. I've got to say, I've really loved it. And there's some exciting things happening on the political front here. But in my heart, I'm a protester. I'm an activist. There's nothing I like more, getting in front of all those people and speaking up. I did used to want to pee my pants. And we can blame Judy Wilyman, actually, because there was an event where she was meant to speak and she was running a bit behind. And they said, come on, you jump up instead. And I thought, oh, dear God, I don't know what I'm saying. And I basically just read off of a leaflet, one of the IMOT ones that we'd had printed up. And that was it. And then after that, I've just really found my groove. And I think we're all born into a time and a place for some reason. And I'm just so grateful that although my journey's been short, only a few years, that I've just found these wonderful people that inspire me as well, Alona and Tay and Adam, and we've just got such an awesome team here in Australia. But I'm super excited about the Millions March. I'm in Albany. That's where I stood for the election, but I'm actually going to go to Perth for our Millions March because I think this one will be huge. The people here in Albany are going to do one here for the Southwest. There's a young girl who's very proactive, and I think she'll do a wonderful job. But I'm actually going to be going to Perth, and I'm hoping that I think we're going to get lots of people, because here in WA, Mark McGowan is leading the way in terms of medical tyranny. The Attorney General and the government lawyers are right now in front of the High Courts working out how they can make the COVID injection mandatory for hotel quarantine workers. And McGowan was on TV. I've got the video recording of his, hang on, my dog. I've got the video recording of him saying it on TV. And last year, he also floated the idea of no jab, no school. And I believe that that's where we're heading. WA is one of the test states. Mark McGowan is an absolute maniac. He's ex-military. He said publicly he's running this state like a military state. And it's not going well. So I think here in WA, we need to have lots of people starting to stand up. One of the things that does concern me, and please, I don't want to hijack, but I really think we need to get this message somehow a bit clearer with the marketing, that it's all inclusive, because, you know, I have people that really don't care too much whether about the vaccine or not. They don't understand coercive practices. So they'll go, oh, but it's not mandatory. But then they're concerned about the vaccine passport. So I'm trying to think of a way that maybe we can open it up. I know we started from the core problem, but Jesus, it's exploded, right? So I'm thinking from a marketing perspective of how we can maybe open it up to appeal to more people to help everything to grow. So that's me.
Thank you. And you're one of the people, well, the main person in Perth I continually reach out to and have a whinge. And it's been a bit crazy the last 12 months. The events have been great, but we have had events where people have tried to hijack them, and hijacked events have happened, and locations have been changed the day before, and whatever. But thank you. And the people keep turning up, like you say. So hopefully this time they have the notice now in advance. Strong team that's not going to crack and blow things up, and hopefully it's all good.
I really want to push the concept as well. I've been thinking about it again from a marketing perspective. It's 2 days before Parliament starts sitting again here in WA after the recent election. So I think that's just such an awesome opportunity as well to stand up. So I'm hoping that that really appeals to people. This is kind of our last chance, literally before Malgowan goes back into Parliament and basically takes over. The state of emergency is also up. They keep extending that. That's a very difficult and a very strange situation here in WA, because what happened was 12 months ago, McGowan applied for the state of emergency for 3 years, and it was knocked back by Parliament, and they gave him 12 months. But every fortnight they extended on the internet. So people think it's just a fortnight to fortnight thing, but it's not. And he's probably going to, as soon as he gets back in there at the end of May, he's probably going to extend it for 2, 3, 4 years, or, you know, basically whatever he wants. So it's bad here in WA. It really is.
Who did we just lose? Did we just lose someone? The screen just jumped around. But we'll go to you, Joe, because I know you guys are tired. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., haven't slept yet.
Yeah, it's a bit early here, but that's all right. First off, I just want to say it's a pleasure to meet all you guys, and it's you know, great to gain perspective from people outside of America. You know, our laws and legislation are a bit different here than they are for you guys over there. So some of the stories I'm hearing are pretty alarming, to say the least. But yeah, my name's Joe Hyatt. A quick backstory for me. I mean, I'm a father. I was in the United States Marine Corps. I'm an activist. You know, when I started, I was never much of a public person. I was the last guy to get up and talk to, you know, a crowd. You know, you could pull my teeth and I still wouldn't get up there. But you know, we just kind of get into this for, you know, we have to. I don't think it's really a choice. Once you see what's happening, you can't look the other way. And you know, and you're just empowered to action at that point. So I just started posting around on Facebook. I met with a few people who were telling me that I wasn't the only person out there talking about vaccines and stuff like that. Went to my first ever event actually in 2019 that Ali put on here in Nebraska, and what we had nationwide with MMAMV. That was my first event, and then after that, I just kind of I fell into it, and here I am today, and we've been doing quite a bit of work on quite a few different projects here. So yeah, here we are. But a couple of things I wanted to touch on. You know, one thing that's really special about MMAMV, I think, is we're all inclusive, and we've always done a great job at reaching across the aisle to other groups or other organizations and working with them to the best of our ability. And just by the group that's here today, I think that shows. You know, you don't get in a room or in a conference with you know, all these incredible people by, you know, not playing on the same team. So if there's any kind of misunderstanding about what MMAMV is or what it stands for, I mean, we're all just people out here. We don't, you know, we don't make money doing any of this stuff. We take our own time and our own reputations in some cases, and we speak the truth. And when you speak the truth and you're working on the right team, everybody's going to come together, and you know, nothing else really matters after that. So I think that's really important that, you know, even if people are associated with different groups or different organizations, come to MMAMV events, and we'll be happy to support you guys in your stuff as well. This is all about bringing us together and not tearing us apart. And I think having, you know, so many people on board with MMAMV all over the world, that speaks numbers. So that's great. That's great to be here with all of you guys. You know, I think
Oh, what's going on there? There's Joe.
there. Oh yeah, there. Yeah, there. And that was an event in Washington, D.C. That was, yeah, and then that's obviously Dr. Wakefield there. But yeah, I mean, I've been to a few cool places and doing this stuff, and just met all sorts of incredible people, and it's great. But kind of my thing here in America is I'm more of an event organizer. So I think, Michael, that's I think kind of we relate on that. We're trying to get what is called our state rep group up to speed. Right now we have 17 state reps out of our 50 states. So that's kind of a work in progress. This year for our event, we're really focusing on the mRNA vaccines and hopefully trying to create some sort of an informed consent
Campaign.
Campaign to give people, you know, because I mean, nobody's getting informed consent. I mean, I'm not sure what the media is telling you guys over there, but here in America, it's been FDA approved, and vaccines have been studied, you know, in trials and all that nonsense. And we know that the normal vaccine schedule has been under, let's just say, not the gold standard of study. And we know for darn sure that this mRNA vaccine that got pushed through in a couple months certainly hasn't been through that study. So I think it's just important that we need to let people know, because you know, it seems like, at least here in America, the media is using the word vaccine and all of the comfort say that comes with by our slogans here, that vaccines are safe and effective, and anybody who questions a vaccine is automatically an anti-vaxxer. And so, you know, they're using that comfort that's instilled in the population by saying vaccine, and nobody thinks twice. And that's we learned about this stuff, you know, in the Nuremberg trials, and we're here to uphold informed consent to the highest standard, and give people hopefully all the information we can find so we can help people make the right decisions.
Awesome.
But other than that, I'm not sure I have much else to say. It's great to be here with all of you guys.
Excellent.
And, I think you guys are doing a great job. So
you guys too. It's going to be massive. Well, it's so like I'll just speak for myself. When I got into this, it was the Americans, and I know you don't like this, Alona, but it was the Americans that I looked up to that were doing so much action. I didn't know anyone in Australia until I found Tay and Alona and Anita. But in America, there was so many people. Like, even watching your rallies in 2019 in Jersey, they were massive. And Sacramento and Los Angeles and Florida and New York, like massive events everywhere fighting against mandatory vaccines, religious exemptions, everything. So yous are guys that I've always admired and looked up to, that yous were getting the ball rolling where we were trying here, and it was just so hard. I know you have a lot
Well,
more
I'll tell you,
than we have.
so I tell you what, you guys are doing a great job. I've been looking at some of your stuff online, and you know, I have the utmost respect for what you guys are doing, and I think you guys are doing an incredible job. So we look to you guys for a little bit of, you know, insight as well, because you know what you guys are doing is great.
Yeah.
Like Ali said, last year our event was unfortunately foiled by you know, riots. So last year was just kind of a shaky deal for us, but we're hoping to get out there this year and you know, make everybody proud, make the world proud. So.
Well, and I was also going to say, you know, it's, you know, to what Joe was saying about the media and how they spin things. Nobody in the United States, it was never aired on national news that there were these events happening across the country. And so our only way of getting the word out was through social media. And that's only been hindered further by Facebook censorship. However, you guys did make it on our news. It was reported about that you guys were out there in a global protest and participating in MMAMV. And I don't know if it's the opposite for you guys there, but here in America, you guys have done so much that it is more noticeable than even when we do things in a nationwide event, because they just don't air it. They don't tell people, and they make it darn near impossible for us to tell other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of wondered myself, because obviously we watch you guys on Facebook. So we're
Right.
seeing you on Facebook, these amazing events, not the news. But then
Right.
we get contacted, and I'm sure everyone else does, by many people in America going, well, we need to do that here. And I thought you did. That's I started doing it. I thought you did.
Yep.
Interesting. But they miss it somehow. And I guess it is social media. If you're not following the right person, or we're all
Yep.
shadow banned or blocked. And
Yep. And that
Well, and
plays a huge role in it. Go ahead, Joe.
yeah, I'd say it seems, especially as of the last couple months, it seems the louder you get, the more they're after you, and the more they're trying to shut you down. Me and Ali do a couple groups here on Facebook, and between her and I and the other admins, it's almost just a storm of I think, yeah, Ali's on a restriction right now. I'm on restriction. So we're running on a ghost team over here, but I should be back in action tomorrow. So I'll get back to it until they kick me off. But yeah, they're cracking down on us. It's hard for us to get our word out. We really, you know, honestly, we have to focus a lot on reaching out, and that's why we're focusing so hard on the state rep program, is to get, you know, people in hopefully all 50 of our states who can kind of build that local community, because you can't manage everything from the top. Everybody knows that. But yeah, really, it's just, for us, it's just about reaching out to, you know, people personally, and hopefully establishing state reps so they can get, you know, communities going in their states. One thing that we find works very well here for us is just getting like a group text or a group chat going. Some of our pages, you know, pages are pages, and you know, but they're getting censored left and right. What we have the best success with just our group chats. We've got a few chats that, you know, have a couple hundred people in them, and you know, that's kind of how we stay on the same page here amidst the censorship.
excellent.
Yep.
Thank you. I need to go to Erica now. It's getting late in New Zealand too. Erica's in New Zealand now. I first come across Erica, it would have been 2019 too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
When her children got measles. She went to the hospital. They told her to get lost. She started posting about it. She copped a lot of abuse, deleted the post, and I'm like, I need to help. I posted it without putting a name in. I deleted any negative comment there. And when she had a look, there was now 5,000 beautiful comments from all around the world going, you're awesome, you're a queen, you're the best. That's how we met. I then invited her. She was the first person I invited to speak at the Millions March in Sydney last year. She booked the plane ticket, she was coming, and then COVID. So we don't know. I'm not going to pressure her. In the bubble's opened, and if she had a dream about it last night.
I do.
Oh, she will speak in New Zealand if she stays in New Zealand. We don't have the location yet for New Zealand, but we will announce it shortly.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Kia ora, everybody. It's such an honor to be here and to see all your faces and to hear your voices in like real time. Yeah, yes, no, you're right, Michael. My children are unvaccinated, and then they got the measles, and I got so hoha, which means tired and over it, of hearing how dangerous, through the media and how they were just pushing vaccinations. So I posted, and before I post, I knew in my heart that something in my life was going to change, and I did not know I'd be here today. So Michael reached out to me. Tay reached out to me because she saw everyone slamming me in the media, and the trolls trolling me. Adam reached out to me as well, and also Michelle, because I ended up on TV, and then the Western Australian, is that the name of that paper? Someone in Perth. They stalked my Facebook page and ended up took a photo of me and did a big spread on measles in Perth, and it's because of people like this, and they used me as the face for that. So so that's when Michelle reached out to me. But yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I could believe it. Sorry, I just couldn't believe it that they had put this photo on the West Australian, our statewide newspaper, and it was that this Maori woman or whatever brings measles to WA, and I just thought, what? So I did a little bit of searching and then just reached out, have you ever been to WA? What's the story? And then I found out about your story, and just, wow, just another layer of what the media the lengths that they'll go to create such division and hatred.
That's right. So when I was on Māori TV, that's our channel here, our Indigenous channel, it still to this day has the highest amount of views ever and comments in history. And so I was really, I guess, criticized and hammered and slandered and put down by my own people. And it broke my heart because I was speaking up for our people. I was speaking up for the future of my children. I was speaking up for the misinformation that our people were told. And so the other side of the coin, I was also applauded and congratulated and given, go girl, and you're amazing. And I at first I didn't get it. I didn't get why people were saying, you're so courageous, because I just spoke out, that's what we do, when something's not right. And once I kind of had my eyes opened to the movement, global movement of who you all are, it blew my mind. But it's those voices and those mums and those parents that reached out to me and said, thank you for being a voice, because I can't do this, but you did it for me. And I mean, I sometimes think in this craziness of COVID-19, why am I even bothering, because we're still getting hit. What's the purpose here? Why am I so passionate about being a voice for my people? And it's those voices. It was those mums that lost their babies. It was those families that have been ripped apart with their children who are now severely, with autism and the likes. And you're right. You've all said it tonight. It's tonight here. We are chosen. It is us for some reason, because I'm not one to come out and be a face. I don't like the limelight. I like to be behind, when no one can see me, encouraging the others in the front. But for some reason, it's me. For some reason, it's us. And far out, what an honor. And I think for me to observe and watch all of you, excuse me, it just gives me courage, and it gives me that push and it lights my flags. It's like, wow, listen to all these incredible voices. It's like, and it spurs me up, and it gives me power. It gives me power. So I just want to thank you, all of you, for that empowerment, because, as small as we think our role is, or our part is, or our voices, it's so the opposite, and it's global. But so thank you for having me.
And it was funny, like, I have got it recorded, so I could use it. But when Erica turned up and a few of the guys on the screen were like, "Oh my God, Erica, you're a hero," and Erica, "No, you guys are the hero." And that's how it kind of is with all of us. We all kind of admire each other's work. It's not a competition. We're all in this together. We're all in the same battle.
Yeah, true.
Good. In saying that, I will mention before I get to the next guest, there is another event 2 weeks before our event. We are doing the Millions March against mandatory vaccinations and passports, Michelle wants, on the 29th of May. There is another event 2 weeks earlier, a freedom event. I encourage you guys to go to it. It's a different event. So just to make it clear, it is a separate entity. We're about vaccines. And as you can see on the screen, we've been here a long time. We're parents. We've been fighting to save and protect our children for a long time, and we'll continue to do that. When masks are gone and lockdowns are ended, we'll be still fighting against this vaccine, against the measles vaccine, against the flu vaccine, against any future vaccine that comes to. We'll still be here fighting. That's what our event is for. Obviously, that leads into everything else with the lockdowns, with the masks. We said back 12 months ago, all these things were happening to bring out a vaccine. A lot of people called us crazy. Well, we said this before Corona came, that it was coming and this is what was going to happen. People called us crazy, and then it happened, and we're still here fighting for you guys. So again, I don't know what that's got to do with anything, but two different events, two separate events, two different working teams. Some people are maybe in both. People can go to any event they want. People can go to both. I encourage you to go to both. Spread love and hope and support each other and come out on the streets in numbers to both events. Was that good said? Or was it?
Yeah, well said, Mick. Well said.
Sorry, who's organising the freedom event?
I don't know, and I'm staying out of that, Michelle. Don't make me talk too much. I support it.
I like details.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just contact
I
me.
haven't seen an ad or anything for it.
Okay, you can contact me, Michelle, and I'll provide you with some information. But sorry, guys, and
Okay, perfect.
I can't wait to hear from Tay. I know she's got to head off soon. So in Cairns, we support all national, and thank you, Mick, national actions and international actions. Look, we're only a small community, but we are growing and we are strong. And I believe that everyone should support all events, making this way forward. I do have to tell you, Mick, that our Millions March event, we actually marched, walked the streets through Cairns, and it was our biggest event ever. So we had over 300 people attend that event. I know that doesn't sound like big numbers, but for Cairns, that's huge. So I can hardly wait till May 29th. And we're going to rock it in Cairns, and we'll just we've got to do it. People need to wake up, and this is one of our actions that we can do that. So again, thanks, Mick.
Thank you. And next we've got Tay. Erica just talked about the media. Tay's copped it harder than any of us. Yeah, and Tay again has supported the Millions March from day one. Even being in another country on the other side of the world. Is it on the other side of the world? She was still supporting it. Anytime sticking up her hand, how can I help? The whole family came down to the events. And then finally I got to meet Tay at the last event with the whole family again. And it was massive and awesome. And it was just like a magical moment that it all aligned together finally. And boom, Sydney showed up. So thank you, Tay. Welcome, Tay.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for thank you for that little introduction. It's been crazy times, to be honest. Like, I've started my stuff about 7 years ago, and like you said, Mike, like, we've been trying to tell people that this has been coming for quite some time now, and yet obviously everyone gets the conspiracy theory label slapped on them, and then what do you know, the conspiracy theories start to become facts, and now they're trying to roll out these vaccine passports, and now they're trying to you know, say that we won't get out of this unless everyone's vaccinated, but then they change the goalposts again. And now it's like, well, everyone's vaccinated, but you still have to wear masks and we're still going to go into lockdown. So for me, this has always been about the vaccine agenda. Like there is no other way around this. It's always been about the vaccine agenda. Yes, people feel like their freedoms are being taken away and they're locked down and, you know, we can't do certain things without, you know, a mask or this QR code, check it and et cetera, et cetera. But for my family, it's always been about the vaccine agenda. And that's why I do what I do. And I will continue to do what I do for as long as it takes. To win this. And we are winning this. And I just want to, like, the point that came through for me that I just want to really hit home on is, I know some people feel like they go to these events and they really stress about the numbers and they think, you know, if we don't get a big number, then it's not going to make an impact or it's not going to matter. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Please do not underestimate a handful of people turning up to an event together, even if it was like that first photo that you showed, Michael, of you guys standing on the steps together. Please do not underestimate each person there at the event and the ripple effect that can come from that, because I really don't want people to just constantly dip into this, like this scarcity and this fear mindset of is if we don't get enough people, then it's not going to matter or it's not going to work, or, you know, people aren't going to pay attention. People are always paying attention. And like everyone else has said on this call, we have to do everything. So yes, there is another event before our event. And if you feel called to go to both, by all means, go to both. We need to be doing everything. And, you know, there are different options now where people can pick and choose almost like where they want to go, who they want to align with. And that's totally fine. But I just want people to never underestimate the impact that a small group of people can do, and what we actually can do as a collective when we do come together, especially on these days. And rallies are important, and stepping into the political arena is important, and, you know, letterbox drops are important, and sharing stuff on your social media pages is important. It all matters and it all counts. So yeah, please don't be discouraged or disheartened if you feel like there's not going to be big numbers, because let me tell you, I've been to a lot of events. I've stood there with like 10 or other people, and not once did I ever get to that event and feel sad that there wasn't enough people. I was always so grateful that there was at least a handful of people that actually wanted to turn up and draw a line in the sand and be on the front lines. And those are the people that I'll never take for granted, because that's honestly where it all started. We all started from somewhere. It all started with a small group of people somewhere around this world. And then, you know, obviously in the last year, the rallies are just growing bigger and bigger and bigger, because what's happening is impacting literally everyone around the world, and it's impacting our quality of life. So yeah, I just want to encourage everyone, if you feel called to jump out on the 29th of May and get to a location near you. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, why isn't it this location? Why isn't that location? If it's important to you, if something was important to me, I don't care how many hours drive that I need to drive to get to somewhere where I feel like it's going to make a difference, or it's going to help preserve and protect my baby's future. I will make that drive. So if you're in a location where it's a couple of hours drive to get to a closest rally, like, make a day of it, even make a weekend of it if you want. Take your family or a friend out and actually make it a fun little weekend away or a day trip away. Please don't think that just because it's not in your town, you can't go.
Well,
you know,
and if you don't mind, if I could jump in real quick, the other great thing about, you know, the movement of Millions March Against Mandatory Vaccinations is that a huge goal of this movement is to be able to reach your community and raise public awareness anywhere you are. If you can get to that big event, absolutely do. But exactly as Tay said, you know, don't underestimate a small group. If just you and your family can get out and you go out on that day with everybody else, you are not alone. You may be one person or 5 people or 20 people in your area, but you are united around the world on this day, and that makes a difference. Every single city, state, territory, country that we can have representation makes a difference. People are paying attention. It's why we use social media. We have our hashtags so that we can all unite in one place. So like she said, you know, guys, don't underestimate small groups. Get out there and just do your part. Every single person you talk to plants a seed, and one day they may be doing the exact same thing you are, and we can just grow our numbers. We are in a predicament around the world where people are fast-paced joining in. and now's especially the time to get out there. So go ahead. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. And 100%, like every little counts, like everything makes a difference in my eyes, because I've seen, you know, the smallest, what might people perceive as a small action actually make a huge difference overall. So I'm excited. My whole family will be there on the 29th of May again. And yeah, along with all of our beautiful freedom keepers, we'll be out in full force supporting this event. And we're just, again, really grateful for you, Mike, for actually, you know, digging your heels in and never giving up, even though I'm sure there's been plenty of times where you've wanted to give up. Thank you for not giving up and staying here and being consistent in these events and your messaging.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'll just add on to that point too, that when I had Cairns contact me, I didn't know it was Adam. You know, when Cairns originally contacted me saying, can we do one in Cairns? But Cairns did one, Townsville did one, Yapoon's on this time, Albany jumped on. There's more places around Australia, guys, and a lot of people just put in the question, why isn't there one here? Well, because you're not running it. That's why there's not one there.
Start one.
Put
Right,
your
right.
say, I want
Let
this.
me,
I'll run
let
it.
me touch on that real quick, if you wouldn't mind, Michael. If you are, you know, one of those people who finds yourself asking, why isn't there an event here? Take it upon yourself to reach out to Michael, or if you're in America, reach out to, you know, any of us over here or wherever you are. And we're not going to throw you out for wanting to host a MMAMV event. You know, we're going to welcome you right in, and we're going to support you, you know, as much as we can to help you get that event going. It's, you know, it's definitely not a popularity contest. And if anybody needs any sort of material or literature, you know, we have United MMAMV.com. That's got all sorts of good stuff on there, to, you know, signs for print off and info cards and stuff like that. So really, it is in your power. If you want to schedule an event, just reach out to someone, get some info cards together and get that event going, and you know, be that person, you know, your community is looking for. You don't have to travel to a neighboring city if you're willing to, or a neighboring state, or however you guys do it, if you're willing to start it up yourself. So
yeah, obviously you can come to the big one with thousands of people and march through the cities, or you can get 20 people on your street corner out the front of the corner store and make a scene in your little town. That I've seen that, and it looks good too, and it works, and people walk past and they go, what's going on here? And you can start a conversation that way with people. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
again, Australia's a big country, and there's big parts of it where there's nothing. So reach out to someone. Now, Stevie, this is Stevie. She's from, is it near Byron or something, or Queensland, or I don't know, you're everywhere.
Kia ora, everyone. Yeah, my name is Stevie, and I am currently residing in Byron Bay, Northern New South Wales, but I used to live in Queensland. So I'm part of a group that Tay mentioned, the Freedom Keepers, and I help run the Queensland page for that. But just recently moved to Northern New South Wales. However, I still come to Queensland, like I'm in Queensland right now. But yeah, I first, I guess, heard about the march against mandatory vaccinations last year, and I went to the one in Brisbane, and it was massive, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't have any expectations or anything like that. I just wanted to go. I was actually going just to hang out with my friends because all my friends were going, and it was going to be something that, yeah, we were all standing up together and attending this march because all of my friends have kids, and I love these kids as if they were my own, you know, so I want to stand up for them. I don't have kids myself, but the reason why I got involved in this conversation is because I have so many kids in my life and I want to have children eventually. So that's why I am choosing to stand up for my rights and the rights of others as well. So went to the march, had an absolutely great time, was the best ever, met so many amazing people. And then, yeah, I went to the one in Sydney, just the last march in Sydney where Tay and Stevie and all of them spoke, and that's where I met Mike. And he was like, oh my gosh, I love you and what you do. And I was like so blown away because I was like, oh my God, I love you. Like, so it was just really cool to meet everyone and to be there. And the energy was so high and it was so amazing. And the speakers were great. And I just felt like I was on cloud 9. And so this time round, we don't have a march for the Brisbane or Gold Coast area. Our nearest one would be Sunshine Coast and then Sydney. And I was going to go to the Sydney one, but I'm still not sure because we might try and do something up here in Byron Bay. But the thing that I want to do if I have involvement in running an event is I really want to have the Indigenous people, the original custodians of this land, of the land that we're on in Byron. I want them to be involved, and I want them to be on the forefront of what we're doing, and I want them to be basically leading it. And I want people to be exposed to the true Indigenous people of this country, their cultures and their ways and their stories and their songs, because I feel like none of us here in Australia are really exposed to true Indigenous people of this land. And so, you know, it's all well and good to say that we've been fighting this fight for so many years, but Indigenous people have been fighting this fight for generations. And that's something that Yarika, who usually speaks at the Brisbane marches, she's Indigenous, she mentions that, and she's like, we've been fighting this fight for generations, like, welcome to the party, because now everyone else can see the corruption. Like, as an Indigenous person, it was easy for me not to trust the government and to believe that, you know, vaccines are harmful and that they do cause all of these things and that there is an agenda behind it, because that's something that my people have already experienced. So I really want to do something in Byron. I think it will be really cool, but I'm just waiting to hear from my Indigenous friends to get their blessing from it, because as I said, I really want to have them be involved in it and be at the forefront of everything that we do within this one, just for me personally. And if they don't want to do something, or if they didn't want to support that for whatever reason, then I would respect that, and I would just go to the Sydney one. It's not a like thing for me to not go to the Sydney one. I don't mind going to the Sydney one, but yeah, if I can speak with my friends and we can sort something, then I definitely want to do something in Byron. I know it will go off. I know there'll be so many amazing people who would turn up. It's just, yeah, I really want to, as I said, have the Indigenous involvement. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, I guess. And I'm really excited for the 29th of May, and I can't wait to see where I end up. And I just know it's going to be a great day. And I hope everyone chooses to show up to the 29th of May, wherever you are. And as I said, make a trip out of it if you want to, because I mean, that's what we did the last time, and it was so much fun. We had the best time. So thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me here tonight, and thank you for bringing me into this group. I really appreciate you and the work that you and the team are doing. So thank you.
You're appreciated too. And like, when I saw you sitting under the tree, I'm like, oh my God, Stevie is here. Well, what is she doing here? And I had to say hello. And then I asked her to speak at our next event, and she said yes. Now she's pulling out. No, when she mentioned Byron event and her ideas for that, I was like, that's amazing. Yes, do that. Do whatever you want to do, but that's great. And yeah, I travel from Canberra to Sydney for each event. It's about 3.5, 4 hours. I normally make a weekend out of it. So it's quite costly for me each time there's a rally. A few nights accommodation in Sydney. Parking's terrible. $50 an hour parking or some garbage. Yeah, but we do it. We know Anita often travels to Brisbane 7 or 8 hours. We have Michael O'Neill that always comes down to Sydney 7 or 8 hours. It's viable, guys, and it's worth it, and it's fun, and you meet like-minded people, and it's family, and it is. Some people can call it a protest, but it's like a festival. It's different. It's not. I don't know. Can anyone else explain it any better?
Yeah, I totally agree. It doesn't seem like much of a protest, you know, and we're not overtly, you know, aggressive in our approach to informing people. You know, we're not standing on the street corner yelling at people for vaccinating. We're just simply, you know, trying to inform people that, look, these mandates are real. These are a concern for us. We've all obviously been vindicated in that at this point. But no, I agree. It's not a protest. I've met you know, some of the kindest people at these events, and yeah, it's very much a family atmosphere, and you know, just our goal is to educate, you know, not necessarily to protest. So I can definitely relate with that.
Yeah. Well, the biggest chant I know in Australia, I don't know about America, is "My body, my choice." We're just saying we want a choice. It's all
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. A choice not only for us, but a choice for you as well. You know, everybody else out there. It's, you know, if you feel like you're properly informed and you've got proper informed consent, by all means, take a vaccine. Nobody's telling you not to do that. We just simply want the choice, and we want the opportunity to make sure everybody's making the correct choice with all the correct information.
We've got someone in the dark down there.
Is
Mary
it
Ellen.
me? Yep. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Good morning.
First
Sorry about
person to
being
talk
a
to.
little bit late. What's that, hon? Oh, I dropped you. You there?
What time is
Yeah.
it for you? Where are you?
I am in Michigan, the United States, and it's 10 minutes after 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm a little bit late for the party. The time change had me slightly confused. I thought we were starting at 5, but I gotta, so I had my alarm clock set. When I got up, I saw a message from Allie saying it started like 30 minutes prior. I was like, yikes. So I apologize.
That's right. You've
I
made
was I was listening to what you guys were saying, but just to chime in what you were talking about, it's not a protest. This is definitely an opportunity to raise awareness and educate more than anything, as well as bonding with people that are like-minded, and to let them know that there are others out here in their own local community. And I know what Allie was, she had chimed in when Tay was talking. And when we started this, the goal was to empower people at their most local level, even if it's in their own neighborhood. Even it does not matter. You don't have to, you know, travel hours to get to a state capital, because there's a lot of families out here that don't have the resources or the ability to do that. So we wanted to empower them at their most local level, even if it's in their own neighborhood, to walk around. So it's definitely not a protest. It's an opportunity to gather with like-minded people and try to raise awareness and educate others, because we're talking about our most basic human right. And this is, you know, to have the decision what to be injected with and what not to be injected with. And that is, if we lose that, then there's no such thing as freedom. And I know how passionate all of these people are on, you know, this Zoom call, as well as all the ones that are within our movement. And there's no way we're just going to sit back quietly and let something like that happen. And the great news is that since we've started this a couple years ago, we've grown exponentially. And I don't know if, you know, they dove into the history, because I was sleeping when you guys were talking. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, it's just refreshing to see how far we've come and how much we've grown. And I absolutely am excited to just, you know, expand our team. And that's another thing. There's no competition. We're not competitors with people in the movement. We're all on the same team, and I cannot stress that enough. So our main goal was to unite us across all the different states here. And when I saw your email from Mike last year in January come through the website, and I was like, oh my gosh, we got Australia on board. I'm like, yes, let's definitely hook up, Mike. So I was excited about that. And that's what it's about, just growing our movement and educating others to raise awareness. And like Joe was saying, we're not telling people not to do it, but we want to offer them true informed consent and give them the side of history and facts that no one else is going to tell them from a doctor's office or from the medical community. So I'm proud to be a part of this. I'm excited. Every one of you guys are rock stars in my eyes, because not all rock stars play music. And so let me tell you, you guys are all rock stars, and I'm definitely honored to be a part of this.
Thank you. And thank you for founding this, and thank you for waking up early for us.
Thank you for having me. Again, I'm so sorry I'm late, that I was confused on the time change.
Now you're about to hear Australia's #1 rock star. I've saved her
All right.
last. Well, again, you're the first person I knew in the movement, and you were out
Let's
there.
have a little bit. Hey everyone, how are we all going? So many amazing people here. You've all just hit the nail on the head with so much information. I don't even know where to start. 2015, I did my first rally and I spoke because no one else was going to. And from then on, it's just been this series of meeting amazing people. I've been to rallies in Brisbane, Melbourne. I headed over to Perth and we did an event over there and I met all the Perth people. What has happened out of that, we've built amazing community. The connections, I can go anywhere around Australia, as can anyone here, and connect and have people that are going to look after them, pick them up from the airport, take care, because that's community. That's what this has created. It's just been the most amazing journey. And I think the governments around the world have underestimated what they've actually created, because they've created a landslide underneath the scenes and nobody could even comprehend what's actually happening because behind the scenes, because nobody even really sees it. The people that come to the rallies aren't even the true extent of the people on our team. So the rallies themselves is actually where I've met the most people. That is actually where I've got most of my connections. So for those out there that don't go to rallies, it's been the most buzz, the most amazing feeling, and it's just been such a buzz to connect with like-minded. And it was actually funny today, I had a meeting with some like-minded people and we were saying the mask mandate at the moment here in Queensland is kind of like a bonus, because all of a sudden you can walk down the street and know who's on our team, okay, who's prepared to stand up to this tyranny and the absolute BS and the psychological war that we're currently experiencing. Like, they're there, right? And so you can go, hey, how are you? Come on board. For me, this event, this is going to be the first Sunshine Major rally up here. In the past, I've organised them in Brisbane, so I organised them from 2015 right up until last year. And I'm excited to do Sunny Coast to build the community here, because I think it's really needed. We actually have massive networks here and we just haven't even capitalised on that, because the focus has been capital cities. I think at the moment, because of what's happening globally, we actually have to connect on a small local basis. We actually have to build communities locally, because that's actually how we're going to protect each other. And so, to be honest, I'm all for more rallies. So if you are out there and want to organise a rally, I think get in there, talk to the different people here to get guidance on how to do it, you know, the best ways, what works, what doesn't, because the people that have been doing this for a long time have learned what doesn't work. And there are little tricks to the trade, but, you know, we're all happy to share that. There may be one on the Gold Coast. Michael, I haven't spoken to you. I spoke to somebody today that would love to set one up on the Gold Coast. And Stevie, I will talk to you, because there are people in Byron also talking about organising one. Let's hope Brisbane also steps up to the plate. It would be great to see Brisbane.
There's a lot that have been reaching out about Brisbane, and I think there's a team ready to jump and say, we're doing it.
Okay. And that would be great too, you know. I think just to show unity, and just remember this is about building community. As much as I love the big major events, it's actually, to me, nearly more beneficial to go to the small events. The smaller it is, the more powerful connections you form, because you actually have time to talk. At the bigger events, it's just, oh my God, there's just so many people that often it's hard to get around and actually meet everyone, whereas the smaller events are way more powerful. What else? Exploded. Michelle said something about exploded. What's happened in the movements, that's an understatement. And what's happening around the world is just phenomenal. And I don't think any of us could have predicted anything quite this bad. But I will say, I've been talking about this since the beginning of the journey. As soon as they introduced no jab, no pay and play here in Australia, I went, oh my God, it's open slather. So I've been saying no jab, no travel, no jab, no job for years and years and years. The writing has been on the wall for a long, long time. And I'm kind of grateful that it's out in the open now, and that the governments are showing us, like, what's happening is I don't even know. It's like Nazi Germany has nothing probably on the outcome of what this is going to have, you know, the Cold War and all those sorts of things. This is just a different war, and it's being played so totally different. So I think, you know, to to be connected is really important, and to attend these events is really important. And I want to add as well, I had really important conversations. So thanks, Nick and Helen, because it was really insightful. And they were saying even small things, just walking around your shopping centre, handing out little pamphlets with little bits of information, everything and anything is contributing to making change. And ultimately, we all just want to build a beautiful, beautiful future. And we know we can have it. In the event up here, we're actually going to incorporate, organic food growing, get some permaculture tips, get some natural therapists. We're hoping on a bit of a big name as well, but anyway, I'll hold that under my hat. But we want to include solutions. It's not about just getting up there and whinging and whining and banging out the government. Everyone needs to take responsibility for where we are right now. And the fact, everyone has to take responsibility. If you've done nothing in the past and you've allowed this to happen, then you're contributing to the problem. Everybody that is doing nothing at the moment is contributing to that problem. Everyone take responsibility. Stop whinging. Get off your ass. Get to the rallies. Let's see you on the 29th all around Australia. If we can have events everywhere, that'd be awesome. Woo!
I would love one in Broome one day, because I just want to go to Broome.
Actually, we did have contacts in Broome, and I'll
go to Broome. Yeah.
Yeah, there. I've actually just messaged as well, because we did do an International Freedom for Choice rally, which linked up with Poland and France. I did one of those about a year or 2 years ago, probably now. And I've actually just messaged them as well to see, because it'd be good to get your European countries on board as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's just hard to know. I don't know how you guys in America deal with it, but it's hard for me to know who to trust and then who to let take that and then not come back on you if it goes bad. Like I could tomorrow go Brazil, Japan, Jamaica, Russia, China. They're all doing a Millions March event because they've all asked, but I don't know. It's just tough for me to do it unless I know someone.
Yeah, well, the guys, the International Revolution for Choice at the time, that was really well organised and coordinated. So, yeah, they're all a great bunch of people. But yeah, I am hearing you, Mick. You've got to make sure that you do work with good people as well, and that it has the right flavour. We want the rallies to be inspiring and uplifting. They're not angry. They're not, we just don't want that energy. We want it happy and nice and connecting and loving and let's grow. Yeah.
Family friendly events.
I've had eight different groups now that have got banned. Millions March Australia. I remember the first one. I don't know which one of you ladies it was. It may not have been one, but they were all admins in the group at the time. And we'd put up a shirt we were going to sell, and it was like, vaccinate this. And they contacted me straight away and they go, that's not the vibe we want, Michael. We don't want that vibe.
Good idea. It's a good shirt, though. It's a good shirt.
I was going to say, and Mike, if you do ever have people who reach out from other countries that would like to host MMAMV events, you're always more than welcome to get a hold of one of us that started up in the United States. We have some awesome literature and just kind of short documents that explain what MMAMV is about. Especially if you go through our pamphlets, it gives a very clear idea of our sentiment and the goal of reaching public communities. And it may open up a dialogue that allows you to really sense whether this is something that this person could handle. But from our experience, this is something that just about anybody can do. If you are passionate, if this is something that matters to you, this is something that anybody and everybody can do. So don't be discouraged if it sounds like too much, because as we've said here, even if you're just showing up by yourself or a smaller group, we love our groups of hundreds and thousands, but at the end of the day, if you can get out there, then by all means, let us help enable you to do so.
Exactly. And I'm just going to chime in right here because that was also part of our goal. It didn't matter if it was a group of 10 people, 100 people, or 1,000 people, or even one person, because we when we did our very first march a couple of years ago, we even told people, even if you cannot attend an event and you're out and about, just take some of our pamphlets, go to, you know, if you're running errands at stores, gas stations, and just leave some of our pamphlets there and, you know, post them in the areas, because you can never underestimate the power of a planted seed. Because when that seed takes root, buddy, that's, you know, that's all you pretty much need. And we have a wealth of resources on our website. So I definitely encourage everyone to check that out. It's unitedmmamv.com. And we have downloads there of pamphlets, of information cards, as well as sign designs. So if you want to submit those designs to like a local print shop or anything along those lines, they're very affordable. We don't sell them. It's free from us, but I'm saying if you deal with a print shop, they're typically fairly affordable. And you don't even have to do that. You can just make your own sign, go to a dollar store, get a poster board. But the most important thing is getting out there and getting this information out there to help wake people up, because it's on us. I mean, we are the only ones out here, you know, meaning our movement, not just us specifically, but our movement, that are providing this education, because these people are not getting this education from anywhere else. So it falls upon us for sure. And
and Mike, if you guys need anything that's more specific to Australia, because I know that the United States and Australia have a lot of huge differences, that we have a lot of similarities when it comes to the manufacturing of vaccines, but when it comes to government overreach and mandates and things of that nature, if you guys need anything tailored to you guys, absolutely just let me know, and I can swap out whatever you guys need so that it's tailored to local events and whatnot. So just let me know on that end.
We'll definitely do that. And I guess the big change, and we probably shouldn't do this on the live, but your posters, this is good for everyone in America, they're very Americanized.
Yeah,
it's very patriotic. You know, you've got the flag on everything. Australians have an issue with the flag, not your flag, our flag. You know, the biggest debate we got last time was people fighting over 3 different flags of what flag should be on the poster.
Yeah,
the Australian flag, a red Australian flag from years ago. Adam knows more about the flag. I don't pay attention. Or the actual Indigenous flag, which is the original flag. Like, I don't know if other countries have that drama, but I noticed with your flyers and posters, we were going to print some out once, and they had the American flag all over them. And I thought, we can't go and hand out the American flag to all Australians.
Well, and in that case, please just let me know, and I can swap whatever color scheme or whatever you guys want to do. We can make that tailored to you guys in whatever way works best.
Adam and Alona and Tay, do you think, and Mary Jane, the green flag with the yellow kangaroo, would that be happy for everybody?
No, sorry.
No. And Michael, I'm with you though. The confusion with the flags just does my head in. You know, at the end of the day, like for me, I understand all of it, but at the end of the day, it's the blue flag. Sorry to insult people out there. That's our Australian flag at this point in time. And I find that it's actually segregating, because we're not using the blue flag. Also, when people see our banners overseas, they don't even know what country we are, because what are we, a red flag, Indigenous, what are we? And that is actually a detriment, I think, to all of us, because we're not uniting under one flag. It's
right.
I agree.
Go ahead. Sorry, hon.
Sorry, I get what Alona is saying, and this is what I've been harping on about through the whole campaign of the last election, is that we need to be united. You know, our council, you go past there, they have 4 flags. I mean, what the hell? Who are they actually representing? I agree with Alona. I mean, I'd like to see the Australian flag changed. I'd like the Union Jack to come out and the Aboriginal flag to go in there. I think that would be really powerful. But at the moment, I think that we have to have that real focus on the flag for us to be united as one. Yeah, I agree totally. I think it's super important.
Well, and I was going to suggest you guys could even consider going with just the red, black, and white that you guys have on along signs behind her. If you just stuck with that color scheme, that could work really nicely. They're really clean cut. People can see those signs and banners from the furthest distance possible. So if you guys just even stuck with a really bright contrasted color scheme, that might work really well and keep you guys united and not have to worry about flag debacles.
All right.
And that's exactly what I did at the last Canberra one. We just used those templates. They were fantastic. And can I just make a suggestion? Because going on something Alona said about no one knows who we are if they see one of the other flags. So no one knows who we are if they see our blue flag. But one suggestion, maybe what if we had the shape of Australia in blue? I would say stay away from any flags in Australia at this stage. It's very divisive.
Which flag do they show in the Olympics? Which flags do the sporting teams run out with? Which flags do the army people fight with?
The Navy's
flag, isn't it? I don't know. I only see the blue one, only in our little movement people. I've never seen the red one before last year, to be honest. So
Can we put all the flags on there?
Okay.
Would that solve it? If we just like,
I thought about that, but no, people.
put them all on there.
Hold on,
And
I've just got to show something.
unite 'em.
Let's skip off the flag for a minute before we say goodbye, because it's getting early or late, no matter who you are. I just want to show this video again. This is from the Freedom Keepers. Tay sent this one out. It only goes for a minute, but it kind of shows what the events are like, the passion, the love. I don't know. I really like it. So I'm going to show it. I don't know if you Americans have seen it.
Fuel your lion's energy. We are on the front lines right now. We are in the strategy. It's all about changing the narrative with the example of your life, and that's what you're doing here today by showing up. You're changing the narrative from fear to love. You have to fight for your babies. There is no one else to rely on, and not the government. Stand in your power now. Thank
I loved it.
Yeah,
That was great.
Gets you a bit teary.
Yeah, it looked great.
And for 2 or 3, you would start crying.
And here's the thing, you know, we were talking about groups and kind of starting your own thing. Events and rallies like that, you know, don't just spontaneously, you know, come to be. It all starts with, you know, one person or 2 people standing out there. And then you'd be surprised at how many people have the like-minded opinion and will come and start looking for an opportunity. You know, not even just willing, but are actively looking for an opportunity to stand with someone. And that's exactly how you know what, you know, first year or, you know, the first year you have 2 people in a new spot, you get 10 more people. The year after, you're going to have 100 people. So that, you know, it's very important to just get out there and you be the person that people are willing to rally, you know, around, because not everybody's willing to step up, you know, to be the first batter up to the plate, if you will. So.
Yeah, no, 100% definitely. And you never know what will happen. The first event we did last year, which was massive in my eyes, when we turned up, we had no idea. We didn't know if there'd be 10 or 20 people. We didn't know. And then people rocked in and it was amazing. But even if there was 10 or 20 people, it was still amazing. We were still going there. It was still a good event. And Adam said his numbers have risen. Canberra's have risen. Everyone's risen because of that, the flow and effect of one person getting out there, 2 people getting out there, bringing friends, bringing family, them seeing it on the news, them seeing it on social media and enjoying it. So I just want to thank all of you for coming tonight. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you, America, for starting this all and joining us in. Thank you to the IMOP family for supporting it the whole time. AVN, Tay, Freedom Keepers, thank you. And thank you everyone that's came to the events. Thank you to all the organizers, for all the speakers. anyone who shared the posters and the events, thank you, and we'll see you soon. Well, maybe we'll do another one of these beforehand, but thank you. Share it with your friends.
Yeah, let's
Yep.
have fun.
Okay, we'll do another one closer to the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye,
everyone.
Mick.
Thanks a lot, y'all.
Thanks,
That was
everyone.
great.
everybody.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone. Ka kite.
Great to meet you guys.
Thanks.